There we go. There we go. There we go.
Hello.
Yeah, we are live. This
Woo.
episode will be coming out just under the wire, as in we're recording this on the day of.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I'm done with this, gonna be editing and all that. But
Yeah.
I was gonna start off. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, I was gonna say, I'll be doing stuff also while you edit.
Oh yeah. You were telling me. Anyway, Ian was starting this out.
This is a Chris show. Look at him. The
It
Chris book
is.
is a Chris show.
Oh, fuck.
Have a book.
You all missed it. The tone was set earlier, and I can't wait to see when
It's
they
very
fight.
hostile.
It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be really funny.
I didn't do anything. Like
No.
And
I.
Inaction's a choice, Nick.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, that's actually a great jumping off point for the movie we watched.
Oh
Sure
yeah.
is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched Friendship. We were supposed to watch Pantheon. That didn't happen.
Stop blaming people, Chris.
I didn't.
I haven't blamed anyone. I said it didn't happen. I haven't pointed a finger, Nick. I haven't pointed anything.
Oh, well, I stopped it.
But I think there are enough clues throughout our tenured history doing podcasts.
Yeah.
That I think avid listeners can figure out.
Yeah.
You're right. My bad, everyone.
Oh,
everyone
one
put
of
it
you
down
maybe.
in the comments.
Yeah.
Put it down in the comments.
Oh yeah, put it down in the comments. Who do you think fucked up?
Yeah, who
Because I'll give you a hint. Two of us watched it. Watch Pantheon. One person didn't. And if someone in the comments tells us and gets it right, we will tell the story on the next podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we will.
Again, all 5 of you will. So go tell your friends. Maybe they'll figure it out too.
Yeah.
Poll in the chat. Chaz, is this real?
Chaz, is real?
Don't try and DM one of us. That's cheating.
Yeah. No, I won't answer.
Yeah.
I won't answer until the next podcast where I'll say like if anyone got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Ian messaged me after we saw this movie, or after he saw this movie, because I think you watched it like a day later or something.
I think so. Yeah.
Texted me. He was very excited to talk this movie.
Yeah.
And I am too. We tend not to do comedies like straight comedies on here because it's. I mean, we'll find out how we do it this time, but it's me and Ian have talked about this a lot, where it's just hard to make it entertaining, unless the only examples we've ever seen that have been entertaining is stuff like a recent one is Michael Swaim's I Learned Everything from the Simpsons series.
Yes.
Crack, which is heavily scripted and written funny.
Yes, that's true.
And yeah, that'll work.
There's just generally.
Oh, go ahead.
There's just generally kind of few ways of telling someone, and then this joke happens. It was very funny.
It was very funny.
Yeah.
You gotta believe me, man. Gotta believe me, because I could say that I can explain the whole thing, the whole joke, why I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And that's torture. That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
That someone's got to be on your exact same wavelength in order for that to work with them.
Describing a joke to some, which I'm saying this totally.
We've all done it.
I'll let everyone know as a child who habitually would do bits that that I liked.
I still haven't grown out of it. I don't know it's real anymore.
I definitely can iterate that some jokes work really, really good in the context, especially in a comedy film. And this movie is that the context is everything.
Very contextual.
Because I think even some of the jokes, if we describe them, they don't sound necessarily like a joke. Oh, and you laughed at that? Yeah. It was funny in the. It was funny.
He made a funny face. I don't know what to tell you. Look, it's very funny. I laughed when I saw it. I don't. If I had to, well, we'll get into. I'll save this line for the. Sorry, actually talking about the movie. But let's get into the rising action real quick. What did you all know about the movie before going in? Let's start with Ian, because he was
Sure. Before this, I mean, I really had only known that it was a vehicle for Craig Robinson. No, not Craig Robinson.
Nope.
What?
Tim Robinson.
That's Tim
completely
Robinson.
different man.
Totally
doing
different.
A completely different comedy.
Close enough, yeah.
What a
just say close
movie
enough. I get it. Yeah, it's
Tim Robbins. I was confused because he plays Craig. Tim Robinson.
Yeah, that's right. That's you know what, dude? I don't even remember what the names of the characters are because I just call them by their actors' names. There's a real who's who in this. Anyway, we'll get into that. But.
Yeah, I knew it was a vehicle for Tim Robinson and for Paul Rudd, and I know the kinds of comedy that they do. We're big fans of I Think You Should Leave here at the show.
I'm a huge fan of I Think You Should Leave. Yeah.
And so I kind of had a sense of where the comedy was probably going, but it was not written by either of them. It was written by Andrew DeYoung. And so I feel like that's a name that's rang a bell for me, but I couldn't place him at all, guys. I'll look for that. But what did you guys know going into it, Nick?
Personally, I just knew like the two casts of Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson and the name. That was honestly pretty much it. I didn't even know like what it was about. So pretty unknown to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know much. I think I may have seen parts of a commercial, and maybe I got like totally the wrong idea. I did get the romance thing, which is not what this movie becomes after a while.
No.
And I thought Tim Robinson was the person, and Paul Rudd was the hard ass, and Paul Rudd was the one warming up.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'm just totally misremembering what I saw in that trailer. Other than that, didn't know. I knew Tim Robinson was like leading a movie.
Right.
I was like, well, that's crazy. I'm gonna go watch because all the comedy skits I've ever seen from him are no longer than. Well, even the longest one on I Think You Should Leave, I think is only 5 minutes or something, or 6 minutes.
Yes, I was curious.
Which is a very long time.
I was curious to see how he holds up in a long period too.
Same.
Like, yeah.
Surprisingly well, I think.
Yeah.
It does rely on everyone else being somewhat sane.
Yes, I wanted to. We can talk about that too if once we get into. Are we ready to just get into?
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into the climax of the movie. Ian, let's start with you. I think you were super excited to talk about this.
Well, I mean, there's so much to touch on, but I'll just start with what you said. Like, I was thinking about like the movie is like 90% grounded and sincere, and 10% like odd, like off or heightened.
But like, I would argue that like percentage is always prevalent throughout. Does that make sense?
Yes,
like
I would
every
say
scene
that,
is just a little bit. Yeah, that's weird.
Yes. Look, I think that for most of the movie, the character Craig from Tim Robinson is the weirdest part of it. He is the Jim Carrey type, I guess, if I'm gonna throw something around. He's the weird guy.
I got a different comparison, but yeah, go on.
But yeah, so he's coming into this world, and then you do occasionally get little weird things that I'm like, oh, that's excellent. Like, his son kisses his mom on the mouth.
Yeah, that shit. Yeah, it's so out of nowhere, and just a cut to Tim Robinson going, "Fucking kiss your mom on the mouth." It's so weird. That shit's weird. That's like some white people shit, and I don't get.
That's wild. That's wild. The line, "No, I'm T-boy. I love you, Craig." Such a good line when that phone store team just closes the door on him. I don't know. There's excellent little moments like that in the film. But I guess my main thought that I was gonna throw out is you can watch this movie like a drama, and maybe that's a good way to unpack the movie. Like, it's very funny, but if you take Craig character from Tim Robinson as no, he's just a sociopath. He has no interiority at all.
He calls him a narcissist. His wife does.
His wife
she's
calls
100%
and
right.
says that he was raised by one as well.
Oh, that's true. Like, no, she says she was raised by a narcissist.
Right.
It was crazy that her mom never left him.
Yes.
And the implication with that line being, as she's saying this to Tim Robinson, you're a narcissist and I gotta leave you.
Oh, I think, and the evidence bears that out in every turn.
By that time, by that point in the movie, yeah. But we're jumping ahead a little bit. Let's keep going.
Well, yeah. I mean, we can just start with the beginning scene of we meet Craig Waterman, who's a husband to an unusually beautiful wife, played by Katie Mara.
It's the Joe Schmo. He's married to the beautiful wife.
That's true.
And his way too cool son, played by Jack.
The son's also kind of a piece of shit, as we find out.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Like,
the apple doesn't fall far. But it is you're right, in the trope of like, my teenager's cool, he doesn't want to hang out with me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. My teenager's way too cool to hang out with me, and he's, I don't know, there's so many of those scenes are wild, but I was just going to throw out, he's acted very well by Jack Grazer, who played another boy who's too close to his mom in It, and he played he was in a whole bunch of things. I just saw he's in things that you'll recognize right away. In Beautiful Boy with Steve Carell, that really great drama, and he was also Luca. He was Alberto in Luca as well. Yeah. And then he meets Paul Rudd anyway. But how do we want to kind of start taking this, just the development of that friendship? And
let's just talk about that, because that's the main thing of the movie for the first half, right? Hey, for anyone who doesn't know, for whatever reason, as you get older, it's hard to make friends.
Yes,
it really is. It's not. There's a lot of reasons for it. Not all of them bad. You're all your own person now. You're a separate person, so it becomes harder to like find people that not only mesh with you, but you'll also find that you're kind of unwilling to really change yourself to another person's liking. Again, that's probably for the best. It's very like kids do that, teenagers do that, where like, my personality is different in order to hang out with someone. You kind of become a little bit more uncompromising. Although on the other hand, there are extremes where like, I will just put on a full facade to hang out with a person because I'm so fucking desperate for to talk to someone. Yeah, that also happens with a bunch of adults.
But which happens in the movie. That part happens in this movie.
And that's the reason I'm bringing this all up, because this is what the relationship is, especially when and this is gonna sound like, whoa, I'm a man, it sucks. Which is middle-aged men in particular have a very tough time. Men in general have like a very tough time making friends, and it's not because like we're men, we must. It's a weird societal thing, right?
Yeah,
like to be open with other men, and like we create all these kind of weird rituals and like just trying to not say emotions, we'll say emotion. Like there's a great scene where he's hanging out with a group of friends and trying to get into the in group, and they're fucking boxing in a basement.
Yeah,
with gloves, and it's not a cool like it's not a cool like Fight Club thing or whatever. But even then, it's probably kind of where they got the idea. Probably, at least this group of characters. It's this just really goofy. It's fun. They're having fun, like boxing, but they're boxing in a basement and stupid and dangerous. Like, but it's a very But dudes will do that. Dudes will like do like feats of strength, as Seinfeld would call it.
feats of strength as a bonding thing for men. And
Yeah.
then the other frustrating thing, and again, why I'm thinking like this is kind of a drama, is when Craig fucks that up, when Tim Robinson's character fucks that up,
man,
that's not at all a stretch. That's not like that's actually not
he
like
lost
a
his
Jim
temper.
Carrey like.
Yeah,
he lost his temper, and that's like a real.
He got jabbed in the face twice. That will happen anyway.
Yeah, especially if you've never done it, and these guys have hung out forever, however long, and done it all the time.
Now, granted, he did sucker punch him, and that's like fucked, especially in a.
That's fucked up. You don't do that.
That's where you like. That's another thing. Oh my god. As a man, no, you learn to control your anger. It's anyone who has that kind of like anger, like inside, you learn to control it as you get older.
Let me ask you guys this though about that scene, because I, for the most part, felt like the again, that 90%, 10%. I felt like Aaron's friends, Paul Rudd's friends, were all like pretty positive depictions of men. Like they were supporting each other. I feel like that group
were not chatting about like, how do I raise my kids,
my daughter, and
my
support
daughter
her as a daughter. Yeah, exactly.
Men, like not only teenagers, like men are looking at her, and that's fucking weird.
Yeah. But then you so like when I'm watching that scene, I really do think it's all on Craig, because Craig could have said after he got hit once, okay, I'm done, and I don't think they would have. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a group who's gonna like pussy him, shame him, and call him names and things like that.
I would also argue, I think anytime you bring, like, you're encouraging fighting as a group thing, you do open yourself up to shit like that. And you like, not to say they're all to blame, the guys, but there's partial blame going on them. Like,
okay, I can see that.
Because they set up an environment where
like,
none of us know what we're fucking doing. None of them are like at least explicitly say they're boxers or anything.
Okay, I can get into that. I can get into that.
Or know how to coach or train or anything.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah. But Tim Robinson did lose his fucking cool. That's the joke of this.
So I would say that's the moment that the movie kind of pivots from a man crush, something more akin to when Paul Rudd did I Love You Man, where it's a friendship between two guys that's meaningful and building. And you realize, but Craig, like you said, didn't give a shit about any of that. He met a platonic male friend who is kind of masculine in an idealized way. Like,
but open to his emotions in the world.
Yeah, and the first time he meets him, it's so funny. I was talking to John about the scene where they have their first beer, and he was like, "So is that a sex thing?" And I was like, "I don't. Maybe it is a sex thing." He shows him the speech about this is the first tool man ever created, the Cro-Magnon 60,000 years ago, and then Craig gets a nosebleed.
I know that. Okay. So I made the joke. I thought of that where it's like, oh, it's like an anime. He got a hard boner.
Yes, yeah.
Because that's it. Because in anime, that's what that means.
Yeah.
But in like in Western movies, it usually just means like your brain is like super fried or something, like something mentally has gone wrong.
And that's what I was thinking, but I now think both could be right, potentially. Like,
it could both.
He's obsessed with this man. He is obsessed with this guy.
It becomes an obsession.
Yeah.
Like that, and we'll get into what like my thoughts over the overall thing on here. But it has to do with the idea that, like, anytime, oh my god, it would. Well, let's keep going with the movie, because I feel like I have a whole speech to give, and I feel like I would derail the whole fucking thing. But yeah, so he meets Paul Rudd. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, he meets Paul Rudd. They start to build a friendship. He finds out Paul Rudd is the weatherman. There's a slight plot line,
which is always cool.
which
If
is
you're the
always
win.
cool.
That's the
Very
that's
cool.
the sexiest part about
the
being
mustache
on
and the 70s
on the
decor
news
and
team. Yeah.
oh my god, yeah. And then you see that scene where they're getting to know each other. They then go on like a bro date is the best way I can describe it. Is
Yeah.
like a fun little sewer adventure where he like does urban exploring parkour and
like a fucking teenager, right? Like
yeah, exactly. And it is very like immature and adolescent, but while I'm watching it, I was like, wow, if my neighbor was cool like that and did this, I probably would be bowled over too. I would be, oh my god,
it's
a
very
magical
charming.
night.
It works.
Yeah. And Paul Rudd, of course, is very charming innately.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hey guys, breaking into places is pretty cool.
It's pretty sick.
That.
Touching government files after dark.
You know it's fucking rad, sewers. You ever walk in? Or aqueduct is what they said.
Oh, I have to ask Nick once we enter the area of expertise. Was I supposed to think he was really good, or just middling, or actually bad as a band member through that plot line?
Oh yeah, what'd you think of the one song, Nick?
Oh, the one song. Yeah, I mean, it was. Yeah, maybe it's supposed to be like they're okay, and then like he's just supposed to idolize it. That was fine. Like
it was like it was more fast and punkish than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like middle-aged men.
Yes. And I think that's the first piece. Well, one of the things I've been thinking about is like a part of the obsession that Tim Robinson's character has with him is this construction of him. Oh, he collects fossils and is in a punk band and this. But then you slightly get more overt instance. I mean, you already mentioned he's kind of immature. The things that he's pursuing are, but besides that, like there's other things that are maybe more of a character flaw or issue that you start to kind of get. But I'm more interested in the idea that like he's just an imperfect. You slowly get like, oh, he's a real person, but Craig can only see this idol that he's constructed out of Paul Rudd's character.
And which kind of starts to come down when he goes to well, there's that nice moment, right, where there's that nice moment where Tim Robinson, where Craig and what's the other character's name? I should look at that.
Aaron.
It's Paul Rudd's Aaron. Austin. Okay. Paul. So anyway, Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson are chatting, and Tim Robinson goes like, "You should ask for the day position. Just ask. Fuck it. Like that's how I got my corner office. Where the lineup. I eat all my lunches alone, and
they're very smelly and messy.
Smelly, and no one cares. So Austin, aka Paul Rudd, gets the job.
The prestigious job. Yeah.
Prestigious morning weatherman. Which to anyone who doesn't watch TV, which is gonna be a ton of people. Back in the day.
Yeah.
Morning weatherman and morning team is like you are top fucking dog at news station. You are the first thing most people see in their life every day.
Yeah.
When they're getting ready for work, you get all the info out. They look to you. Oh, it's crazy. It was a crazy time when before you could look up the weather on like your fucking phone.
Mm-hmm.
When a window wasn't enough because you know you're not going to be home all day. You need to know what the next 8 hours are. Should I bring a jacket? Is it going to get cold later? Anyway, fucking it. So he gets the job. Gets it. Tim Robinson goes over. He's like, I was working in the building. Let's hang out. And sees the facade down with Austin because he's having a real tough go at it.
Yeah.
It's a high pressure situation. And and already Austin is not who he pretends to be, right? Like he has a phone after a whole scene with him throwing a phone and saving Tim Robinson's life from standing in quicksand or a bog or whatever.
Yeah. See, and I had interpreted that as that was the moment maybe Paul Rudd decided, oh, I actually don't want this guy to have access to me like that. I don't have a phone. That's
Yeah, he wants control of what people like perceive him as.
Yeah,
right,
definitely.
And that's not, which is kind of psychotic if we're being real. But that's not uncommon. That's not different for a lot of just not even just dudes, even though very much dudes. Especially when you're with other men. It's a whole fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucked up. There's whole studies about it. Go look it up. Go look, man. There was y'all even today. There's still that era of I cannot even be perceived as anything but masculine. Right, whatever the fuck that means in the societal context. But people do that too. They have the whole facade thing that you want people to see you on the terms you create, especially as you get older.
Mm-hmm.
Like then maybe who you are or who you are in your weakest moments. Like and all that jazz. So yeah, we kind of see. I think you're right. That is the pivotal moment where like Austin is. Oh yeah, no, I don't want that.
Yeah,
I just wanted the cool hangouts, like and everything. No, so it starts to come down with that, and the of course him meeting up with the friends is the big like
and being so insecure about not having the connection that he has with the people he's known. Like, well, there's another line that I really feel like I need to throw out about the specificity of like Tim Robinson's character being like, and I mean clinically like sociopathic, like unable to really understand other people. There's a line his wife has at some, I think it's when he's playing punk music and making breakfast and like
hang on, I want to talk. Let's put a thing on the punk music, right? I'm sorry to derail this, but just because we're not that far from the music thing, Nick.
Yeah.
Do you think the most egregious musical thing in this movie is the fact that they call Slipknot punk?
Oh my god, yeah. I think that was
did that bug you as much as it did me? Like
it yeah, because like in the sense of like
wrong.
Kind of like what you mentioned of it's wrong. It's also like they have a there's like the thing of I guess if we go back to the masculine thing, it's like a fixed perception of things. So it's like they literally have because no one corrects them, right? So it's just everyone just agrees that's just the reality. So it's
so the fact that other people aren't pointing it out is you like no the movie is calling this punk and it's wrong.
It's
Nick, I'm with
I
you.
don't know. I know. Well, it's because I've seen it so many times and I've ranted on it so much of like when I don't know, the musician's ego is like something that always bothers me because it's like when it's to a point where literally like they're warping reality to like by having people around them just agree with things that aren't true.
Right.
From an outside perspective, you look fucking crazy. Like you look like a psycho who can't just look something up anyway. But that was just I'm with you. Like it did kind of bother me.
This movie getting Slipknot's not punk for anyone who needs that clear. And here's the thing that really irks me, really fucking irks me. Slipknot has been brought up in Tim Robinson's work before. For anyone who doesn't know,
many
if
times.
anyone's watched Detroiters, there is a whole episode, one of the best episodes. If anything, it's actually my favorite episode in that series. Is Brian O'Malley comes over and plays his brother, and it's the whole episode's about siblings.
Oh, okay.
And Slipknot is heavily featured in there in that episode. So he knows what Slipknot is.
Yeah.
Now. Yeah. So in my head, okay, ready for big brain conspiracy shit. And in my head, Tim Robinson knows what Slipknot is. He probably got that music in the movie. because maybe he's a fan or something.
Right.
But they call it punk, and maybe that was the only way he could get that music in there.
Oh,
if his character called it punk, because it was a lie to whoever the executives or whatever or producers.
that could be.
That's what I want to believe.
I
Because if you
think
got
it's
it
more
wrong,
like it's probably
bullshit.
either.
Sorry,
It's more likely that it's a joke on the character. Like, I think
it could be.
I think Tim Robinson goes out of his way
I've thought about that too.
To make sure you know
Yeah.
at the end of this is an irredeemable piece of shit. This guy is really
the fuck. I mean, okay, yeah, maybe like that. That it's to add to that. It's to make me angry and be like, yeah, fuck this guy. That.
Well, I think that, like, I don't know. I had that feeling, and we'll talk about it as we get in. I had that feeling maybe prematurely in the movie for where they wanted it, but I was like fairly early on when he loses his wife. I was at that moment like, okay, well, you fucking when you lost your wife and then made everybody else feel like it's on them. That Jesus Christ, yeah. But
now you could be right because everyone questions what is this like beforehand for the music. I'm so stuck on this thing, and like,
yeah,
because you could be right because it could be just to add to the character like he doesn't actually know what fucking music is.
Well, because his wife in that
something
scene says,
fast.
"You never listen to music."
Yeah,
they say, "Craig, you never listen to music." Yeah, I do. Sure, I do. And then I think that same scene, or possibly just around that scene, his wife also is talking about his sudden interest in Austin, and she's like really confused because she says something like, "What are you talking about? You usually just sit in your chair and you don't like seeing.
you play on
You
your
don't like
phone,
doing that."
He was dead before, but now he's alive.
Well, no, because I'm thinking that he was kind of he's this kind of real guy. We're talking about the male loneliness, just on autopilot, who's like, fuck other people. And that attitude comes through in every interaction he has.
It really does. Everyone's crazy.
Yeah.
To Tim Robinson's character.
Yeah.
It's no, it really is like it feels that was kind of the thing mentioned at the beginning. Actually I don't remember if I said that at the beginning. Whatever. It really does feel like a Tim Robinson sketch elongated, right?
Yeah.
Like it feels like it's in that world, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where people are usually the normal ones, but they can also be a little weird. But Tim Robinson's a crazy fucking maniac, like or narcissist in here. Okay, so let's talk about the. There's a whole thing you can talk about with just the relationship with the wife and being like just a man in a married relationship that has definitely gone fallow.
Well, he's totally checked out.
Yeah, he's checked out.
He's totally checked out
after surviving after being a cancer survivor too.
Oh my god. You guys remember the opening? She gives that beautiful speech. His wife gives this beautiful speech about overcoming cancer.
And then how she didn't orgasm.
And how she's just been struggling through, a year without orgasms. And
yeah,
she said a few other things. And they're like, Craig, do you want to say anything? Well, she's a champ. She deserves a parade. But no, I'm pretty good. Coming pretty fine. Like,
oh yeah, I orgasm fine. Which is a funny line.
Yes.
But it is like real fucked up. Like, okay, so I had a question about that. Because it is a funny scene.
Yeah.
And sets up the tone kind of for the entire movie.
Yes.
And I would have to ask the one really close friend who's a cancer survivor. Do other people join in on you? Like join in with you to cancer survivor like meetings or
potentially your husband or children, maybe, if you're in like a support group.
Okay, I say that, but like but okay, here's what I'm getting at, right? Like they didn't do that. Like, okay, you know what? I think my actual problem is the fact that he talked, right?
It's weird that they directed to him. Yeah.
They kind of take it in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Because they do that for other other circles like that where like, yeah, you're allowed to sit in, man. Just know,
Yeah.
don't say like if you weren't part of the experience, don't say anything. Like maybe you can say something if your very close one was, and you're like and you were part of that whole situation, but as like this party, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And,
then maybe. So maybe that's what it is. But it's not only the joke; it's the very act that he talks, right?
Yeah.
That is the start of it for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's wild. I maybe as someone who has not been to those meetings, maybe I shouldn't say like why shouldn't other people be? But it makes sense in my like in the first thing like why don't talk if you weren't part of it like. But yeah. So okay.
I was going to ask about like, do we want to talk more about a specific character, or just carry on in the next part of the film? What do you think?
We can talk about the wife. Well, do you want to just talk about like the real problem point here, where everything kind of crashes down, which is the sewer taking the wife to the sewer?
Well, that's the moment where where he realizes at least that this relationship is unsalvageable.
Yeah.
They go to jail. They introduce the hairpiece, and here's the thing. I agree with you to the extent that like that's another piece of Paul Rudd like's character.
Yeah,
trying to present something. Yeah, presenting a facade. I don't know how we're supposed to. I still come away with it as Paul Rudd's probably more well adjusted, certainly, than Simpson's character. Like Paul Rudd definitely seems to have vulnerability and intimacy with his wife and friends to some degree. That's substantive, but that's weird. That's funny. It's just a silly goof. And then after he gets arrested, what is that when he goes to the Apple store to get drugs?
No, that's way after.
That's after. What happens next?
So before even that, Paul Rudd breaks up with Tim Robinson.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
and
that's right.
You know what? The speech Paul Rudd gives is actually very good. Like that is kind of how you would want to do that with like, yeah, I don't want to hang out anymore, man. It's getting weird. So it was actually very normal in that it was just Tim Robinson's reaction of like the whole situation, right? And maybe that's like one of the cruxes of this movie to me is that maybe if it because it wasn't that funny to me until Tim Robinson says something, but if the whole situation is found funny by people, then it's that thing of like, oh yeah, it's two dudes breaking up. That's so hot. And kind of like the weird, like homophobic stuff that can come from that, as well as like men aren't supposed to have feelings, right? Thing. But I think it was genuinely heartbreaking because it kind of sucks because you know how hard that is. That you got to tell someone like in your life, and like maybe to be on the receiving end, like I don't want to be part of your life anymore.
Yes.
I don't want you part of my life anymore.
Yes.
And that's tough. That's real tough. And that sets off this whole chain of events where Tim Robinson is now looking for companionship. He's desperate for it because now he's had, like a drug as we equated to earlier, he's had that hit and now needs to find more. So he tries to look for it in his son, which a lot of that's not an uncommon thing. Yeah, that's what fathers do when they just do not have friends anymore.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work out. He takes the kid mushroom hunting, eats wild mushrooms, and barfs into himself at a fucking mall. Like,
yep.
I love that the kid abandons him. I think that's funny.
As he should. I was like, good. Get away
Doesn't
from
help
that.
the dad. Yeah, he's just out. It's really good. Then his wife, like, hey, maybe, like, not even as wife, the mother of your child or anything. It's like, I want a friend because they weren't implying they weren't friends before.
Right.
So it takes her to the sewers. That's where Paul Rudd won him over.
Yes.
He won my wife over. And they find the spot, but they have an argument because with they have an argument between each other.
Yes.
About it, like, I'm finally trying stuff, and you're not doing it, even though this whole situation's fucking weird.
It's
And she
fucking
gets
weird.
lost in the sewers.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, Ian.
And I guess I'll throw in really quick before we get to the next part where she eventually does reappear. The reoccurring thing is Craig does not listen to his wife at all about anything, basically, because she in almost every scene through this movie says her car is too small. She really needs a bigger car for her business.
Mm-hmm. She needs a van.
And she has a van, and also she's recently got in touch with her ex.
Devon, yeah.
Devon, who every single time Craig does not remember having ever heard about Devon.
Yeah.
And then that pays off in a funny way. But that's maybe important in the context of the fight in the sewer and then what happens next. But she's lost for like 2 days or something like that.
Yeah, it's like 2 days, I think.
Yeah. And she gets her first
He
orgasm.
goes to work the next day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Doesn't hunt for her. The whole bit of them like talking to the cops, him and Austin, Warren. But also their facades are kind of like finally breaking down because there's like, oh shit, this is like real, and we have to be honest. Is pretty great and funny and like really well done for that tension. Like it's cool. It's both like tense but still funny. Real tough juggling act. And then the wife, they find the wife. Oh, I know.
Yes.
He has the fucking pitch meeting with the mayor, which I want to bring up because it's very important because I think it has to do. It's the whole crux of this movie in terms of like what I think the overall message is.
Oh, go for it.
It pitches to the mayor that the one thing people are looking for is friendship. It's companionship. They want you to be their friend. And 100% he's right. As someone who's like looked into marketing stuff and everything, you want people to feel that connection with something. Like they can't be without it in his life. He makes games that are specifically addicting. That's a real fucking thing, by the way. For anyone who doesn't know, game companies will hire people to make things way more addicting. I had a conversation once with a buddy of mine who worked on Dummy Dojo, where a job application he did, or for a studio, one of the questions he was asked was, "What skills do you know that can make a game addicting?"
Good lord!
And he was like, "Dude, it's fucked out there." This was like years ago, but he
fucking bleak.
So this is a real fucking thing. Now they just hire people.
Yeah.
So he knows that. So he kind of understands in that moment that, like, yeah, this is what can get people to really want to get to, like, to vote for you and love you, is that they think you're the friend. So on some level, he understands that. And it's part of the whole crux of the movie. But and then that's superseded by, let's go with the fucking superhero thing. I saw a Marvel thing.
Yeah, Marvel.
Yeah, and everyone's super excited.
You know that one?
Yeah,
it's fucking the reoccurring thing of the Marvel thing is really funny, but it also feels I don't think it goes too far to being snobby. Because that's what I thought it was going to be.
It's not. Well, I would argue that maybe the ultimate thematic, what I got out of that part, maybe a little snobby. We can talk about that in a minute. But
I can get snobby. I can talk about
and then after his pitch.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Yep.
Oh, okay. You just cut out there.
Oh, dead. But so sorry. The scene right afterwards where he tells everyone he's going to beat the fucking shit out of the mayor for picking the other one.
So, I like how scared the mayor is.
Like, terrified.
Listen, old man, just now.
I'm gonna fucking kill. It's so. Oh my god.
So.
Is that the cell phone scene there next?
It's right after, yeah. We're like,
Oh.
or no. It's when the wife has been found. She moved in to
The pool house of her
Devon's pool house.
Yes, with her son. Yeah, or no, son
no. The
stays there.
son's still with the dad.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. But then's with the phone. You know, he's tried. He doesn't know what to do anymore to get his wife. It's gone full spiral. And I did want to mention this joke too, so I want to hear your take on it before I give mine.
Oh, cool.
On the whole thing.
Mm.
Ian, that is you.
My joke. My take on what joke specifically?
The tow trip. The tripping on the tow.
On the tow trip. Oh my god. Well, I think that's his character right there, laid out. Frankly.
Oh, go for it. I want to hear.
I think that so we'll talk about the scene. He goes to the phone store. There's this kid with a rat tail who is like, I could sell you,
It's a nasty rat tail. Like it's you don't see it the first time, but the second time it's like
yeah.
It catches you off guard. It's so grossly. Anyway, go ahead.
So he buys a lick of a psychedelic toad for $100 in the back of a phone store. And he's like, I'm out of fucking ideas. I don't know.
Not fucking ideas, man. Don't fucking.
And so he lays down, and the kid prepares him for this trip, which is supposed to be like 6 to 8 hours usually.
Yeah.
And then it's like him focusing in on the tile ceiling before he just like walks into a subway.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd makes
it's like a shitty mall or airport subway too.
Yeah, it's not even a full size subway. Yeah. And Paul Rudd is like, you want the 5 grain again? Oh sure, we're gonna toast it this time. No. It's a normal, no jokes, just full interaction and order at a subway that we see, and then we cut back to T-Boy waking him up, and he's like, how long has it been? It's been 8 hours, guy. How are you feeling? It's like a fucking minute. What happened? I went to Subway. Like a
that was the hardest I laughed in the movie theater.
I just went to a fucking Subway.
it's okay. Go ahead. No, you go.
I was going to say like that, and that was my read on. Oh no, that's the interior of his character. Is friendship is an exchange where you give me what I want, and when you don't give me what I want, I've been cheated.
Oh, interesting.
I pay.
Okay, yeah.
And that's the kind of entitled attitude I think that he approaches fucking everything as an exchange of, and that's why he's such a fucking terrible husband and father. He's like, oh, I did it. I did all the stuff I'm supposed to. So.
And it lines up with the whole job as making addiction like. So in that it's a one-way, it's a one-way or two-way street, but it's transactional. I take the drug, or I get the phone, and all the endorphins rush, and like and I'm into this, and that's why I played the thing. So he has you're right. That's his worldview on everything, and that's how we should react. I think there's a deeper layer to that, if I might add.
Go ahead.
How many times? And I'm sure we all got stories. You go into a restaurant, a fast food area, a fucking grocery store, and there's a guy, usually middle-aged, who just chats up the person behind the counter, specifically behind the counter, or maybe one of the workers.
Yeah.
I've worked retail. I've seen this shit nonstop, and they just won't. They try to keep it light, but they wanna be funny too, so the jokes don't quite land. But it's that server power dynamic of like, I gotta lie, you're funny, man. Ha, like $8.95. Let's go. How many times? Right? Like, go ahead.
I was gonna say only so much I can share from my people. I used to work with kids for a long time.
Yeah.
I can corroborate this. There are for a long time before I worked with any adults of the kids that I worked with, so many middle-aged men who at the slightest at the slightest provocation with the thinnest transitions would want to be like, yeah, so you got any bitches trying to take your money, man? Like, just to vent about their weird middle-aged, like, yeah.
And it comes
exactly.
from a lot of places. There's two big things going on there.
You know.
I
Yeah.
find one,
Mhm.
they're so desperate for human interaction, whether or not that's
Yes.
because they're a shitty person or because the world just kind of works that way to isolate people, right?
Mhm.
They're just
Mhm.
desperate, and this is what they got. This
Yeah.
is why you become a regular somewhere. This is why you become like,
Yeah.
just you frequent certain places a lot, or at least people like this do. It's just
Yeah.
the interaction portion.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be a bad thing, but you should understand the second part, which is there is a power dynamic also going on.
Mhm.
Which
Yeah.
is, yeah, the other person has, like, they're so incentivized to be friendly to you for monetary reasons, for
Yeah.
hey, this person can just like attack me at any moment. They know exactly where I go to work or anything.
Yeah.
It can get physical, or
Yeah.
because you just want to get on with your fucking day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it creates this safe space not for the server, but for the person talking to the server.
Mhm. Yeah.
To just rant off and say whatever the fuck they need, because it's sort of it's and you're right, that's like the relationship in that it's transactional. Like, I'm paying a money thing here, now listen to, it's some weird cheap form of therapy from a
Mhm.
non-willing participant,
Yep.
right? Or a person who is monetary incentivized to be willing.
Yeah.
It's almost, well, no, it's not quite prostitution, but there is a monetary factor going on here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
That
that
scene is
people
so
like
great. Like, that scene is so fucking good. You're right. You're 100% right.
yes. Yeah, I mean, like, because I then think about the way he behaves later, and I'm not trying to spoil it. We can get to it if we
Yeah.
want to unpack it totally, but when he's holding the gun to the new guy head,
But yeah, Jim.
there's a scene later. Jimp. Jimp with a P? Jimp?
Yeah.
Um, um
That
he's
room's
holding
crazy, by the way. Can I just point out something about that scene?
Sure.
So, okay, we're all comedy nerds, right?
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
people did you guys recognize in that room?
4.
Or Nick, how
Yeah.
about you? There's one person you should have at least, I think, recognized.
I say a handful, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's John Glasser, it's Jason Visay, it's
Yeah.
Raphael Savar. All these guys. Jim is played by Carmen Christopher. I've either seen in a comedy, like movie
Mhm.
um, or TV show, but I also know they're all comedy writers.
Yeah.
Like, and they're all really good comedy. Like,
They're all
John
very
Glasser is famous for like Wonder shows and a bunch of stuff. Actually, I think he was all
delocated and yeah.
Delocated, writer
Yeah,
on Parks and Rec, I
he's
think, for a little bit
well,
Yeah.
he voices Towley in
in
South Park. So
What? I
Uh,
didn't know he did. Wow.
that's him.
Huh.
so I remember looking at that scene. I'm like, this room's
Yeah.
crazy. This must have been like
Mm-hmm.
this must have been like real funny, like people just going off. I wonder how that like played out.
And
But also, oh, go ahead.
no, good. Your thing.
I was gonna say there was also we didn't point out Paul Rudd's wife is Meredith Garrettson from I Think You Should Leave, who has some of the
Oh,
funniest skits.
Yes.
She's the one that
Yes.
delivers tables,
Oh,
or
God.
the printer joke that Santa brought it is like one of my favorite bits too.
When she screams about Eddie Munster, God damn it, it's so fucking fun. I love her so much.
Anyway, so you go back to that scene, but that I just had to point out that room is fucking wild. Like,
yeah. Well, so I actually think that kind of basically predicts his behavior through the whole last act, where I'll just kind of give a broad strokes and we'll dig into the meaty parts. But
yeah,
you get like a whole segment of the movie where you think, oh, did he actually like learn a lesson about paying attention to other people?
yeah, you get like the whole like, he bought a van. He
Bought a
works
van.
he works a
It
blue collar
works.
job, but it's making him fit and he feels fulfilled doing it.
Yeah, he's trying to be more active, and they're giving you this kind of cheery, like, oh, maybe he's going to actually turn things around.
He stands up for his wife.
He stands up for his wife at a restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot about that. That was really funny. Gotta get the fuck out of here.
I'm gonna use that line. I'm gonna use. There's one line in this movie too that I'm gonna like integrate into my everyday speech. But go ahead, Ian.
We get all that, and then we have it punctured, right? And we'll talk about that too if you want. And then we get the scene where he's holding Jib up, and that has come right after he actually gives kind of the apology he should have given whenever the first incident happened. Like, instead of doing like whatever the fuck weird, well, I was gonna say like the apology he gives the first time, that's how a non-apology a narcissist would do.
Yeah,
like
what an adult man should.
like the non-joke version of it is an old man looking at you and burning himself with a cigarette and being like, oh, I guess I'm real sorry. Like, that's anyway. We get this scene and he gives the proper apology, but immediately undercuts it with, the fuck, you're not gonna let me come back. Just, I gave you the, and he's incensed because, well, I did the thing I'm supposed to do. Why are you not giving me what I'm entitled to for doing? Like, it is a deeply selfish. He's a deeply selfish. Yeah. That's what I was thinking about, and I think that ties to the subway scene basically, as that's how he rolls. He's just going with, nah, this is who I am. I will fuck up my wife's business and ignore my child and kidnap a room full of people.
I will kidnap a room full of people so they can be my friends.
Yeah.
So okay, one more scene I want to talk about, and then we'll cut it because I realize the time. Is the party, the welcome back party? For the wife. Implying that, well, we don't know who set it up. I thought it was the wife who set up that party. Again, I think that's also a little weird, but I don't know if people would actually want that. But who am I? Either way, it leads to a real funny scene with I keep calling him, is it Connor O'Malley, Ryan O'Malley? I feel bad I always fuck up his name because he's super
Connor
funny.
O'Malley playing Patton?
Yeah, playing his the veteran. Right.
Yeah.
And I like the escalation of that speech because that I've been in talks like that, right? Like where you know you disarm someone nice and then just escalate it immediately. Even though Connor O'Malley is like super in the right for that speech, that is how people should be treating Tim Robbins.
No, by that point in the movie, I'm already on Connor's side. Like, he is a piece. Yeah, I wish you were dead.
And then you finally meet Devin, who is played by I think his name is Jason Segura, who always plays the same character, at least in everything I've seen him in. Which is the really chill, good-looking dude who talks like this, and he wants to go, I'm having a great time with them.
I love the arm around
he's a good actor,
the wife,
but it's the same exact role every time I see him.
He's like a very handsome looking guy that you're supposed to trust. And that's basically he was on 2 shows I saw. He was in Dolly Parton's Christmas movie from a few years ago. Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay.
He plays the bastard child of the preacher.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And he was also in AJ and the Queen, which was the show RuPaul tried to get off the ground for Netflix for a little while. Who was a honeypot? He would like rob people.
Okay. Yeah, I know it. He's in Abbott Elementary as well.
Oh, okay.
And one other show I just saw him in. What? Fuck me. Was it Animal Control?
Oh, the
sitcom.
Joel McHale show?
Yeah, it's so don't worry too much. I don't know why I watched it as much as I did. I really do think I have that problem of like, I grew up with too many sitcoms and I watched too many. That it's just something that'll be on in the background. I'll be fine.
I dig.
You know.
Yes.
Because even I'm like, it's like it's not that funny. Like, there's moments, but
I was going to say for sitcoms, I had high hopes for Disjointed. Might have gotten me back on board with sitcoms because of the cast.
Yeah,
sad to say. Even Kathy Bates, not even Kathy Bates.
Damn. All right, that sucks.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. So that scene's great where he's giving the speech and standing on the chair.
Yes.
And yet again, you have to stand on the chair in order to give the speech.
I'm sorry. It's getting kind of disorderly. Can everyone form a line by the
man, okay. When he's pushed out of the house, I just want to get to this one joke real quick. When he's pushed out of the house, and the last thing you hear is Connor O'Malley going, or like giving a speech, and we're glad she's back. Other than that, I don't know why we left Afghanistan. I think we should be there right now. Dude, fucking, they got me so hard. Like, because I know, because it's really funny, but dude, those are real fucking people. Those are real people.
Those are real people. Fuck.
And I think it's one of the funniest things you can do as a human. I don't know why. Like,
that was really good.
So I'm gonna start ending my sentences or interactions with people like that. And the fact that it's so long ago, like,
I know,
it's so fucking long ago.
God damn it! Oh fuck! I'm sorry.
That's super funny.
That joke is still really funny, gang. Hey, go watch the movie Friendship and laugh at that.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my god.
So before we get into the thesis, Nick, was there any other scenes you really liked before we talk about we got at it? I know me and Ian kind of piled through that, but
that's cool. Yeah, like I mean that whole chair scene, the punchline with oh my god, that's good. I mean the fall even before that, like the drum set and him trying to use the restroom was great.
Yes.
Oh yeah. How about when he stuffed soaps in his mouth?
Oh,
and
that's
that really long scene.
I'm sorry.
He's a bad boy, yeah.
Dude, so long. That scene is so long.
My God.
So for you, it was the drum in the bathroom scene, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right.
Oh my.
So what did we get out of it? Let's talk about the following action here.
Sure.
Ian, what'd you get out of it? You seem to have a lot. I feel like I'm about to go on a rant, so like,
sure.
Trying to get my thoughts together.
I'm gonna try and tie it to what I think you're gonna say, but I think that this is like an excellent like pitch black comedy. I don't even know if I can promise how wide an appeal it has, just because so much. I
don't think it's doing well, and that makes sense to me.
It makes sense to me because, like, I mean, it has laugh out loud moments that I think are worth the price of the ticket. But I won't lie, like, long stretches of this are kind of humor that you either like or you really won't like at all. Like, if you don't want to watch a man humiliate himself at the drum set, while four men just like mock him and can't, I don't know. Like, there's lots of scenes where I could see people not digging it, but I think it's very funny. It's actually a weirdly insightful movie. I said earlier, like, if they had tweaked the tone just a little bit, this could have just been a really adept drama about a horrible father who just doesn't know how to connect to other people at all. I will say that I think that this movie maybe does touch upon the real American, not just American men, but lots of men experiencing loneliness, like you had alluded to. Just, I do think there's a reality that this is reflecting of.
I think there's a lot of reality.
I guess my take would be that both of these men have their own issues, in that Austin is maybe missing some of the authenticity for real meaningful connections, or the deepest kind, at least. And Craig just is a fucking black hole. He has nothing inside but hungers and appetites. He is, and I think that I don't know. I do think that there's like maybe a lot of men who don't have anything interiorly that's beyond that. And that was quickly. I'll just link it to the Marvel thing. We talked about snobbery.
Yeah.
Like a criticism that I hear more so from writers than anybody else when they're deriding Marvel is that they are empty feeling. There's not enough pathos. It does feel too consistent, too by the numbers to really move you, because this is the thing we do at Marvel. We do this, and then the joke, and then this. And so a lot of writers will sometimes say that it's empty. I think that that's another thing of why Craig keeps bringing it up, is he wants something that is spectacular and sensorial and like flashy, but he has fucking nothing going on inside. He otherwise would just sit on his phone in a dark room by himself while his wife, goes to Devin's pool house. Like, that's who that guy. But I do think that guy exists more than maybe we were thinking about in the real world too.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with a lot of that. Nick, what'd you get out of the movie?
I got out of it a very funny take on a very real problem, which is the problem of being a man, an older man, trying to navigate societal constructs of of what it means to relate to another man.
Okay, that part, yes, genuinely real.
Yeah, and the pay,
especially in a world where, like, men shouldn't have real relationships with any other men, like platonic or otherwise. Like, so much of our society's built like that, and it's fucking weird. We'll get into kind of my thing. I'm gonna try to curb, because I feel like I can go on a whole deep end about fantasy in movies.
Okay.
But there was a video that Jason Parkin put out recently, talking about, and that I think is poignant, of those scenes with two guys. So I don't know. I haven't watched Lord of the Rings. I've tried. Listen, we've talked about this before. I just never get into it. I'm not going to start now. You're not going to convince me. And I've tried reading the books as well. Again, I've started them. I've tried. You will not convince me to get on that. But it's Frodo and who's
Sam.
Sam. Frodo and Sam, right?
Insane.
Where, like, they hug, they cry, and it's a big emotional part of these movies and stories.
Right.
But then there's always posts. There's a ton of posts and just people talking about these scenes like this, where it's just, we all know what's really going on here, right? Implying that they are actually in love with each other and want to fuck, or like want to be a romantic thing. Whereas, as Jason Parkin points out, I think the actual thing going on here is that this is part of the fantasy of these stories. Is that guys can actually be emotional with each other and feel safe enough to express themselves with other men without the fear. And it's fucked up that it's a fear. I acknowledge that as I say it, but without the fear of becoming anything other than masculine.
Right.
I mean, we all grew up in the 2000s. One of the things you would just say to people is gay, as a derogatory term.
People, anything could be gay.
Anything. And it was supposed to just be derogatory. Because to be gay, or to, like, come off as gay even, is wrong. It's bad, and you don't want to be that. It's not manly.
Yeah.
And that's the joke for that. That was the punchline. It was a real fucked up time. Yes, I am saying that, but I'm telling you this is what was happening. And it happens all the time. And, like, so movies are kind of this weird outlet. Like, you got Fight Club, you got all these 80s movies where it's guys becoming, bros and all that. We have to call it bros. We can't just call it friendship,
Mm-hmm.
and all that. And it's this reoccurring thing because it's part of that fantasy. Because so much of our society is built around us about like guys just not being able to be emotional with their guy friends or to talk about their problems like genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
That's why one of the parts in this movie in Friendship is Paul Rudd having that sit down with with all his guy friends, and they're talking about the problems. They're talking about how they feel about the
Yeah.
emotions, and they're having a good time. It's super
Yeah.
healthy.
Yep.
At that point, it's part of that facade that, granted, Paul Rudd is trying to make, which is he understands what guys want.
Yeah.
And it's not just like it's
Yeah.
not just like sex and or anything else that these stereotypes of. It's just companionship. It's being able to understand someone on a fundamental level, like, and to actually be open with each other.
I would agree with you. I think I know the Pargan piece you're talking about, and also this idea. I don't know if he uses this phraseology or I'm maybe conflating it with some other people, but like a lot of men are starved for touch, like in a almost clinical sense. Like just
I'll be real. When I first heard that, I was like, that sounds weird, and I don't get that. But then I did read up on it, and then, so it is a very real thing.
It's a real thing. It helps you produce serotonin in your own body as a consistent process, even when you're not near people. Like it just re-regulates your body when you do that. And that's just like, like it's not spooning or nothing. It's just literally maybe like hand on hand touch or a pat on the shoulder or something like that.
It's wild how that works. Oh, go ahead.
But even that, how we have to earn that for, I think, at least heterosexual men to be anywhere near that kind of like, you do not lay hands on people. Like for me, with my straight friends, I was reticent to do it at all. Like we grew up in a similar period. Like I don't know. Yeah, man. I dig.
I remember, like, it was weird. I remember in high school where like it was a big deal that all of us as friends like would give each other hugs when we saw each other and all that. It's not that big a deal now. It was back then, and it was part of our thing of being like, sort of rebellious and radical. But it was, but at the end of the day, we still do that now because like we genuinely care and love each other. Because we're friends and we've known each other's like stuff and everything. Like we've grown up together. We know each other's pain. We know what we've gone through, and we just want to like enjoy the time, the very little time we get with each other now.
True.
This is true. The company. But to bring back to that point in the video, I mean, Jason Parkin's video on that is to point out like there's still this weird layer of homophobia, and it comes from people calling people gay and saying it's fine, even though they're not. Like it's calling other people who are not actually gay, or like homosexual.
Well,
it's like in its own form a weird, like kind of homophobia. Like
yes, I do know.
I know I'm kind of fucking this up, but like you kind of see what I'm saying.
It's the idea that platonic hetero friendships can't be their own thing, that we have to sexualize them.
Exactly. It has to be sexual.
This is like sort of my thing with I know we even touched on it a bit in Sinners, actually, about sort of music cultures and other things, like sort of these weird kind of, I'd say, conditionings of of regulating like cultural behaviors. And because when I was in college, the main paper I did was on like the hypermasculinity in music and how it came from jazz. Because my whole study piece was about, I think the abstract was just about how it was focusing on like Billy Strayhorn's experience, writing with Duke Ellington, and how the band almost quit because Billy Strayhorn was like always openly gay. And
yeah, he's like, it was like a big deal at the time. I know what you're talking about. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so like I think the thing I was doing was like I was trying to compare it to like how the 2000s was probably where I don't know, I call it, there's a really good description of like it really was like because it was new millennium, the first time
Mm.
art has come into like a new millennium,
Mhm.
and pretty much like it's the identity crisis, it's the
Mhm.
cultural identity crisis era,
Mhm. Mhm.
and how sort of navigating it, there's more and more like cultural, emotional, like regulating and sort of like I always said like it's like there's these weird like gatekeepings amongst each other and how we regulate each
Oh.
other's behavior.
Mhm.
Or back then it was called like checking each other, like checking yourself for not acting a
Right.
certain way or being a certain way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's so weird. Like it's like in this like into like hyper self like individualized structure, there's these constant things of like um but you can't do that too much, like you can be yourself but not too much,
Yeah, but yeah,
but
yeah.
you
Right.
No,
can,
I get what you're saying.
well, I'm saying
So
like
yeah,
that even beyond like the gender thing,
Mhm.
it's also like how there's this, especially with jazz and music, this hyper masculinity of like, oh, to be a man you need to be very sexual, to be a man you
Mhm.
need to treat and look at women this way or constantly act and behave this way to sort of prove your worth,
Yeah.
and
yeah. Okay.
how like, and then even with other men where it's like that expected like uncomfortableness of like constantly like bragging, like the whole like, oh, I banged this many on the weekend, or like this constant
Right.
sexual thing.
Right.
Hmm.
That, and like how, I mean, jazz too, it was like that's a lot of it was just compensations for genuine like oppressions and various like
Mhm.
government sort of thing, and like uh this is all before civil rights movements, but pretty
Mhm.
much how a lot of it was societal consequences. And
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
like pretty much how in the 2000s it's like became like a repeat of this behavior, and how the irony is that what all we're really doing when we engage in those checkings or like cultural um like call outs
Mhm.
is that we're just reenacting the same behavior of those that have oppressed. So we're just repeating their behavior, but now on a
Mhm.
community or like on an individual level.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we're reinforcing societal norms that were established like a long time ago,
Mhm.
because we assume that's the right way to go. Uh, and to kind of tie it back to the movie, Nick, I didn't want to interrupt. Are you, right?
No, no,
If you
you summarize it. Yeah, that's a synopsis.
to tie it back to it, kind of what I'm getting at with this is that what this movie I think actually truly accomplishes super well is that it reflects so many just little, as we talked about with like the subway thing, so many just little fucking things with like guys and how they interact with others in
Yeah.
society, and like all these tiny little interactions, and
Mhm.
how much of that is born from, yeah, these societal rules of men shouldn't be, like, should either be a certain way, but most of all they should not be that familiar with other men.
Mhm.
You should be alone.
Yeah.
And kind of what happens like to people when that breaks down. Granted, we see the utmost worst of it with Tim Robinson, like
Yes.
of just a psychopath breaking down with that, but it's someone who was forged in a world where that's what he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be the guy, very like 1950s esque Americana. He's supposed to be a
Mhm.
guy, the dad, just sitting on his phone. He has his own chair in the room, not really interacting with the family, but he's there. He's present.
Yeah.
In a sense, he's physically there while the rest of the family is doing stuff, and he doesn't really have guy friends. He has the people he knows at work that he
Yes.
interacts with. breaking down to again bringing up the subway thing of that's a lot of people's interaction is with like this serving or at restaurants or something like, and it's fucked. It creates a weirdo like Tim Robinson's character.
Yeah.
No, the more and more I thought about this movie coming off, the more and more I liked it for that reason.
Nice.
Granted, again, I don't want this to be the thing of just Chris says men have it tough. And let me tell you, no. Listen, there are problems, and like I think a lot of those issues like will help to solve. Like if we can address those two, will help to solve a lot of the bigger issues because we start to, more or less because we'll start to see where the root of it comes from, which is we've set up men to be this way.
I agree.
This is kind of what society's creating are these type of guys.
I think sort of like the thing about it is like because of all these extreme groups and like and sort of exploiting these genuine issues, it's like any genuine productive conversation is just not going to go anywhere because people are just go like, oh, you think this, therefore you're in this fucked up group. I'm like, no, like so nothing gets done, like because we're always back to square one. Like it doesn't even matter. Like it's insane.
Well, and not only that, but like it attracts men. Like we've talked about this before with others that like one of the reasons a lot of guys join gangs or Nazi groups or as we see with the alt-right pandemic is just to have companionship with other guys. Like it's just to be in a group with other dudes. And this gives them something that either their family, like not just families, but like society a lot of the times doesn't give, or we teach like young men what to do, like or how to find companionship, right? And like friends, how to make friends, all that. You're kind of just expected to do that shit.
You're supposed to just have certain things.
With all these little rules on.
Yeah,
it's
and
fun.
and it's crazy. Like it's an exploitive thing that it just So I think that's what the movie does, especially at the end with like how he's he's in the cop car, and then Paul Rudd like
it's just that little hit. It's just that little hit. He just needs the smirk, the wink, little hit.
Yeah,
we're still.
And you know what that reminded me of? Like
bros.
My biggest stretch is like that reminded me of the whole thing with Jimmy McGill and Chuck of seeking validation.
Oh wow!
To such an extreme degree.
Yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. It's seeking validation, right? But Jimmy McGill and his brother is very different in terms of where that validation's coming from, and it's much more like familial and brother. And
but I think a lot of the male to male strains that you guys have been talking about are still applicable too in that way.
Yeah. It's just to wrap up my whole thing before we end this podcast.
Funny movie.
It's very much funny movie.
Funny time.
Is that Tim Robinson's character gets the first hit. Like the whole movie is that like a person born in this kind of world where they creates guys like this gets his first hit of companionship, and it breaks open, but he feels like it's this wide opening experience like a drug, as it keeps alluding to in the movie, leading to the presentation of everyone's looking for friendship because he figured out the one thing that actually he wants in this world. He's just too broken and fucked up by like the rest of it, what's created him. That's why the drugs don't work on him. The addiction works, but like he's not getting the eye-opening experience. Cool.
I can go with that. I can.
Yeah, so great movie. Go watch. I mean, if you listen to all this shit and you didn't watch it, go watch it. It's funny. We didn't even talk about most of the jokes. Or like
we wanted to keep them fresh because there's many funny lines in this.
I actually think it's like a real tight, funny script. It's just like if this doesn't click with you, it's gonna be a rough movie. So let's close it out. Instead of recommendations, just because I feel like we're a little out of time, I'm gonna give just a big question.
Sure.
I had the crazy. Here's my out of pocket. Is Tim Robinson becoming the next Will Ferrell?
Will
Granted,
Ferrell?
Yeah. Hear me out.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I knew it would get in. Because I think Zach Galifianakis actually took that part for a little bit, which is
Okay.
the comedic star, and then we can go back to Rodney Dangerfield and all that. The comedic star who's in the comedy movies, just keeps appearing in stuff and in comedy, and it's just pure comedy work. Granted, Zach Galifianakis has done newer stuff like Baskets, for instance. It's still a comedy, but it's a very dark comedy, and it's very good. Has done other stuff now, but do you think Tim Robinson is becoming? Maybe I just hope that he's becoming a comedic superstar, like the Jim Carrey Will Ferrell, like we're seeing the beginning.
Well, let me ask
One
Nick
could
this
dream.
on top. I got a question on top. I do think that this could parlay into more movie work for Tim, at minimum. Even if the movie's not crazy successful, the fact that he's clearly got friends in high places that like his style, I think he may get another shot at doing a movie at least.
I hope
what
so,
do you
because
guys
I don't think this movie did well. Like,
no.
It got 9.8 million, and that's really low.
Yeah.
For an
I don't imagine this was a super expensive flick to shoot.
I hope not. For their sake.
Yeah.
It might just be Paul Rudd's salary. Oh.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, sometimes bigger stars won't take like a big salary just to help out with certain movies. I know certain people are like that.
That's true. That's true.
Anyway, we're all hopeful, right? That
I compared him to Jim Carrey earlier. I feel like that's maybe
same spot where you go to watch Jim Carrey.
He's in the sense that I'll say this: Tim Robinson has a shtick that he's got maybe 15 iterations on, and I'd watch him do like 15 in the same way that Jim Carrey has his deranged person, in the same way Will Ferrell has his deranged personality.
See, Tim Robinson, get it. Tim Robinson knew Will Ferrell. Ian said it. I'm not alone. I'm not crazy.
All right. Well.
We can all hope. All right. That's a podcast. Go fucking whatever. Go about your day.
Go hug your nearest neighbor.
Hey, go. Yeah, tell your guy friends you love him a whole lot.
Yeah, just not that one neighbor. We all know which one.
Yeah,
the real crazy fucks.
You guys are right.
The one who's had like cop cars show up at like midnight.
If you see orchids going out of that house, you don't go to that house.
No, don't go to that house. Go to the other one.
Yeah. Actually,
go to where the orchids are going, because now there's a vacancy. All right, I did it. That's a good joke. Everyone should have laughed at that.
Actually, since we're here, I kind of want to be real with you guys. How
dare you don't leave it on that joke, Nick? How dare you take this from me? Okay, go ahead.
No, it's okay. No, this is your
No, go ahead.
What did Chris get out of it? What did Chris get out of his life? Yeah.
Go ahead. We're about to hit an hour 30. Why not?
Yeah. I was gonna say, well, clearly, we had great moments.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I wanted to talk about is, honestly, I should have been honest from the get-go about my truth about the streams, but I never liked Kingdom Hearts. I'm sorry.
Oh my god!
I think we should have.
You just want to air out shit.
We should have dropped Kingdom Hearts and then go straight to.
Oh my
Nick, god! All of us knew you didn't like Kingdom Hearts. That wasn't why we.
Oh, I thought it was.
That wasn't the big secret. No. I
thought I suppressed it. I thought it was.
Oh, you thought? Hang on, Ian. You thought Nick liked the Kingdom Hearts?
I didn't think that you loved it. I didn't know that you actively disliked it.
Okay. I believe that. I believe that a little bit more. The real question is, do I like Kingdom Hearts?
Well, why? Hang on. Why?
Because I don't know.
If you made me play all those,
what are we doing?
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I'm gonna fucking kill you.